Okay, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat, sa ating lahat, dito sa ikapito ng Hulyo taong 2021. And the past 7 days, maraming nangyaring very dramatic at in fact, nagbago ang ilang mga major trends sa lipunan po natin. At we will be discussing that with Maestra Ana. Si Maestro Ado is absent today dahil naglilipat po ng opisina. And dapat kahapon natapos na, ngunit may nangyari doon sa driver ng truck, nagkasakit yung ama, nagka-heart attack daw, biglang tumigil nung paglilipat at hindi naman makabalik itong araw na to dahil bantay sa ospital yung driver. Pero ngayong gabi daw malilibre at itutuloy yung paglilipat ng opisina ni Kaado to an office in the building of his residence now. And so, nag-back off po para sa episode na to si Kaado. Si Maestra Ana is with us right now. Kamusta ka, Maestra? Busy-busy ka, napapansin ko. Pero laging may time ka para sa Facebook, ano?
Oo. Busy-busy po, ang daming ginagawa this time, kaya hindi rin ako makapost masyado eh. Share lang ng share. Pero magandang gabi na pala, no? Magandang gabi sa ating mga kabansa at sana po ay nasa mabuti kayong kalagayan. Isa namang Wednesday po ng mahalagang talakayan sa mga isyong very hot right now po. At later po, meron po tayong panauhin na ating pong i-interviewin at sana po ay abangan niyo po yan. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat.
Yes, and bumabati tayo kay Pablo Avellana, Fernando Dizon, Joven Federio, no? Our early birds, although wala pa po tayong mga bagong gantimpala sa mga early birds, darating ulit po yan. Tinatapos po natin. Yung ibang wala pang address, just send your address. We will try to read out your names in the next few episodes kasi hindi ko pa nahanda ulit. Busy po tayo to just send out whatever we have na mga address na nandito na sa atin. Ano? And si Jolito Angeles, Argeles pala, Lawrence Eknerov, Manuel Perez, Obi Aranza Mendez, and let's see, others are still coming in. So, good day po sa inyong lahat. And of course, those who are not commenting but already tuned in sa iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas at sa iba't ibang lugar sa mundo po natin. Okay, and so, well, ano bang mga trend-changing events this week? Unang-una yung kay Hilbay, yung bomba ni Hilbay na pinasabog laban kay Justice Antonio Carpio, at nasira po yung buong tuntungan ni Carpio at yung mga bataan ng Yumaong Noynoy Aquino dito sa issue ng West Philippine Sea dahil yung bomba na pinasabog ni Hilbay sa inis niya dito sa pagyayabang ni Carpio, pinasabog niya yung mga pinapalabas ni Carpio na siya ang bida doon sa arbitration case, na hardline sila, na mga heroic fighters sila. Yung pala, yun ang pinasabog ni Hilbay, no? Yung pala, ang pinupunteriya, ang hinahangad, ang tinatarget nila Carpio, kasama sila Del Rosario, dating Foreign Affairs Secretary ni Ander Noynoy. Ang tinatarget lang pala nila yung deal sa China na mapunta sa grupo ni Manny Pangilinan, yung Philex Oil, PXP for short, nakasama doon sa Salim Group. So lahat po na kanilang ginagawa po doon, sa kabila nung kanilang pinagsasabi na iyan ang nationalistic, patriotic, God-fearing, and country-loving action nila ay yung pala para sa sarili nila. At ginamit nila ang buong bansa, ang presidente, ang presidential office, the office of the president, ang ating foreign policy department, sa kanilang pansariling mga estratehiya at sa kanilang sariling anong tawag no, na pagkagahaman, sa poder, sa pera, sa profit, sa tubo, para sa kanilang malaking conglomerate, at itong si Calcio ay isa sa mga kasangkapan lang po niya. And what are the other significant things? Well, we will start later with the first good news about the COVID-19, At yung kahit papano dahan-dahang nagno-normalize na yung iba't ibang mga bansa, kahit na may bagong variant, medyo hindi na nakakatakot po itong virus na to. And Ana, from your point of view, is there anything we missed out in our agenda na trend changing this week?
So far wala po. Andyan din yung kay Pacquiao, no? Yung
kay Pacquiao, of course,
nandyan,
natin yan. That will be another item that we will be discussing.
So far po wala.
Iba't ibang mga assessment ng iba't ibang mga analysts, so we'll talk about that. But the first thing is the good news. By the way, the second half, alas 7 po, may interview tayo with another APCO awardee, yung Association for Philippine-China Understanding, at yung awards for promotion of Philippine-China Understanding, yung double P yun, APPCU. And her name is Doctora, a PhD Doctor, Lourdes Nepomuceno. Tanhueco Nepomuceno.
Tanhueco, opo.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I pronounce it correctly.
I hope I'm also pronouncing it correctly.
And she is the head of the UP Confucius Institute. Pero she also established the Angeles University Confucius Institute, if I'm not mistaken,
yes, po.
In
Angeles
2009.
Foundation University.
Foundation University, Angeles University for short.
Foundation.
And marami siyang natulungan na mga ahensya ng gobyerno sa pagtuturo ng lingwahe ng China, national language or Mandarin, o ngayon tawag ay Putonghua, para sa Bureau of Immigration, Department of Foreign Affairs, and others, para magamit nila din yung lingwahe ng China para sa maraming turistang marating, which is very important for the Bureau of Immigration. And of course, for the Department of Foreign Affairs, those who will be assigned or who are assigned to Beijing and Guangdong and Fujian, doon sa consular offices, they can get their Mandarin lessons there. So marami pa pong iba. We will hear from Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno about her vocation, her advocacy, her work dito sa pagtuturo ng lingwahe ng China sa maraming Pilipino that won her award from the first batch of awardees for the APPCU. First batch lang po yan, marami pang deserving, huwag pong mainip yung iba, kasi all the rest of the years coming, may annual 10 awardees for the recognition of those who have helped and will help in the promotion of Philippine and China understanding. I don't know, Ana, do you think we should award Hilbay one? Kasi sinira niya yung kasinungalingan nila Carpio. But of course, I'm just joking, no?
Oo, tawag nito? Tawag nito? Parang, Sila na ngayon ang nag-aaway-away po at naglalabasan ng kanilang mga laundry sa closet nila, inilalabas na sa publiko. So parang, okay, we don't need to say anything. Let them, so okay lang, sige, let them throw stones at each other, no? Pero very revealing po yung kay Hilbay kasi binasa ko lahat na nilagay sa kanyang sa kanyang Facebook ata. Oo, binasa ko po yan at na-post ata siya detailed ng Get Real post ata.
Yeah, well, 5 pages daw yun. Mahaba
5 pages talaga, yun, mahaba yun. Binasa ko siya, actually,
So we'll discuss it very thoroughly. Ang feeling ko lang, itong expose ni Hilbay, ang huling mga pako sa kabaong ni Justice Carpio at nung kanyang itinataguyod na laban daw tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. At ito ang pinakahuling bandera para kay Presidente Duterte on this issue kasi na-recognize po dito sa expose na to na sila rin pala doon sa yung mga pangkat noong kay Noynoy Aquino, naghahangad din ng joint venture sa China doon sa oil and gas deal. Ang ayaw lang nila, ibang makakuha o gobyerno ng Pilipinas ang makakuha. Gusto nila sila sa ngalan ni Manny Pangilinan. Kita po ninyo. Okay, we'll get back to that, Kaana, and your reading of the 5-page expose or bomba of Hilbay laban kay Carpio. Let's start with the good news now that is brought to us by OCTA, yung scientific group ng UP, University of the Philippines, na siyang nagsusubaybay, nagmo-monitor ng problema natin sa COVID-19 pandemic. Sila ay isang bagong takag na grupo na nagulat ako nung nagsimula nung nakaraang taon at sabi ko, in fact, sa start I was suspicious kasi bakit biglang sumulpot ito? Ano? But over the months that have passed, talagang convincing ang competence po nila, ang scientific approach nila and the framework ay malinaw, at yung mga conclusions nila, findings at prescriptions sa ating gobyerno at sa publiko ay very dependable. Kaya ngayon po binibigyan ko ng importansya ang mga anunsyo po nila. At itong huli, galing pa sa isang pare na kasama nila, unlike the other priests who are very unscientific. Ito po si Father Nicanor Austriaco. So I wonder how to pronounce that. No? Austriaco o Austriaco. Ay sabi, yung data daw na kanilang pinag-aaralan ay nakikita nila, ay nagsasuggest daw in English, no? Na sa ilang mga buwan pang dadaan, ang National Capital Region ay magiging Delta resilient. Delta, parang medyo makakaya na po natin i-manage kahit na dumating ang Delta po rito ay makokontrol ng Pilipinas. No? And if this is the case, this is good news for the country. Alam naman po natin ang Delta variant o mutation ng COVID-19 virus na kumalat po, nag-develop at kumalat sa India, ang siyang nagdulot ng second wave sa India. Ang India po, pumapangalawa daw sa dami ng namatay sa COVID-19 at malaking dahilan dyan ay dahil dito sa Delta mutation or Delta variant. Pero ang sabi po, ang US ay 650,000 plus deaths, so somewhere there, no? Ang India daw 450,000, somewhere there. Pero yung sa India po talagang unreliable yung data po nila. Dahil po, at least I think it's times 5 or times 10. Sa dami ng makikita naman po ninyo sa YouTube, makikita nyo yung mga ulat at video galing sa Uttar Pradesh, sa Kerala, doon sa mga tabi ng Ganges River, at yung ibang mga ilog ng India na daan-daan po araw-araw sa iba't ibang mga ilog. Libo-libo nga kung susumahin lahat araw-araw na mga lumulutang na mga bangkay dahil may practice sa India po na kanilang nililibing sa tabi ng malalaking ilog. Yung ilog Pasig natin, wala po yan in comparison to the Ganges River or the other rivers in India. No? Yung mga rivers po nila dyan, yung mga ilog po nila, ay ang lapad na hindi mo halos makita yung kabilang pampang. Pampang is the word for it. No? So, ganyan po. And so may practice sila na inililibing doon sa mga kabukiran, doon sa mga malayo sa syudad, sa tabi ng ilog, sa shallow graves. Hindi na po nare-report yung mga namamatay sa COVID-19 doon sa mga probinsya po nila. And sila mismo nagsasabi 5 to 10 times more deaths ang totoo sa India. So kung ganyan po, kung let's say times 10, halos 5 milyong mga namatay na po sa India. Sa bagay, sa 1.4 billion people po ng India, maliit na patak lang po yung 5 million deaths, more or less. Pero sa modern society na ang dami natin pong gamot at mga paraan para sa extension and salvation of the sick, talagang anong tawag dito, nakaka-horrify in English, itong ulat na ganito. Pero salamat naman, kahit na marami tayong narinig ng mga batikos na sobrang magaling na mga tao, lalo na ibang mga Pilipino sobrang magaling, puro batikos kay Duterte at sa IATF, lalo na yung mga nasa opisyon at ilang mga manunulat dyan sa mga payagan ng mainstream, talagang we are still able to control it very well under President Duterte and our government. So, ayan po. And ang totoo, Maestro Ana, maybe you should adjust your camera a bit para masentro ka ulit if you see yourself. Yan. Or maybe you have to move your seat. I don't know. But anyway, para makita ka ng ating audience, move to your right. Yan. Some more. To your left ka Napupunta ka sa left. Tama ba? Ayan.
Okay.
Better na. But a little more would be even better. A little more. Yan. Okay. Sentrong-sentro na. Okay. So sa Singapore, and this is only July 3 ang balita. Nagulat po ako dito sa balita dahil importante din na marinig po ng ating mga kababayan po to. And I think Florence X. Nerov is in Singapore, no? Baka she can confirm with us this news from the Telegraph. Singapore plans, hindi pa nila ginagawa pero pinaplano daw. Singapore plans to stop counting daily COVID-19 cases and treat the virus like flu. Parang trangkaso lang. Kasi sa totoo naman, Maestra Ana, kung tingnan mo rin ang ating statistics, yung ulat ngayong hapon ng Department of Health sa mga bagong infections ng COVID-19 dito sa Pilipinas, 4,900, 4,600, hapon po 5,700, something like that. So naglalaro na sa 4 and 5,000 every day. Diyan naglalaro. Tapos yung mild and asymptomatic cases, yung mga walang nararamdaman pero may virus na ilong, natetest na may virus o mild, yung may kaunting lagnat, ubo, hindi naman, nagre-recover, 96, 97, 98%, at yung namamatay ay mga 1.5%, more or less, that is the standard daily deaths, which is not far from the deaths one can see with trangkaso, with flu, with pneumonia, and so on. So parang normal na mga ratios. What do you think, Maestra Ana?
I think yung sa Singapore po, hindi pa naman nila ginagawa. Plano pa lang. Pero kung titignan, kasi po, minsan din, psychologically, sa yung everyday na may report na gano'n, tapos ang nakikita ng tao is yung total case, pero minsan, andito pala yung active cases. Psychologically, Mentong, may effect kasi yan. Nagpo-promote din siya ng takot, anxiety, and all that, no? Pero kung titignan mo naman po yung percentage, karamihan naman po talaga diyan is hindi naman severe and moderate cases or even hindi nga severe or moderate cases, karamihan diyan asymptomatic at saka mild, no? Pag sinabi mong mild, parang na nga yan, parang ubo or sipon na lang or flu, no? So, I don't know kung if it's for Singapore, probably they're trying to yun na yung nila yung parang signal na gusto na talaga nilang i-open yung economy, treat it as something na normal, part of life, na nandyan yung virus. Kasi totoo naman, hindi naman talaga mawawala yan, no? Yun siguro yung kanilang transition, way of transitioning to a normal but still, with all the precautions. Pero sa Pilipinas po, hindi ko sure kung it will. Iba kasi po ang mentality ng Pinoy sa mentality ng Singaporeans. On the other hand, iba din ang laki ng populasyon ng Pilipinas sa laki ng populasyon ng Singapore. So there would be a different way of looking at it, no? At saka taking, yung pag-take ng mga tao. at saka iba rin yung sense of discipline ng Singaporean sa Pilipinas. So parang hindi ko alam po kung iti-take natin yung strategy ng Singapore if it will work sa part natin. Unless
Yeah.
makita po natin na talaga may sense of self-discipline ang lahat ng Pilipino. Kasi pag sinabi nyo po kasi i-treat mo as a normal flu, baka naman po hindi na sumunod sa social distancing, wearing of mask, face shield, kasi normal flu na lang ang treatment. Malaki ho kasi yung difference ng way of nation tulad ng Singaporean sa Pilipinas. Sa atin po kasi talaga, isa ho sa nakakalungkot to, but I would really speak on this, no? Nakakalungkot isipin po na talaga pagdating po sa following rules, following regulations, medyo tsaka treatment na it should be a communal concern, medyo nagkukulang ho talaga ang Pinoy. Ang
Yeah.
disiplina po natin, hindi pa po ganon ka, I think hindi pa natin na-imbibe masyado na kailangan pa natin ng ibang tao to tell us or ng government or ng security or enforcement sector para lang sumunod tayo sa mga rules and regulation ng ating gobyerno. Kasi sa report niya ng DILG, ang dami hong violations pagdating sa social distancing, sa pag hindi dapat nag-hold ng street party pero may nag-street party pa rin. So makikita mo yung sense of discipline ng Pilipino hindi pa po ganun ka buo. So nakakatakot po mangyari yung parang i-treat mo siya as normal flu. Baka naman po dumami ang cases bigla, boom. So yun po yung ko lang, reservation ko po.
Yes.
Reservations ko po.
I agree with you. Kailangan maingat po tayo dito. I just wanted to read this out at mabigyan ng encouragement. Siguro mabigyan din ng encouragement na matuto ng disiplina at social distancing, becoming part of our life. For me, even pag lumipas na po ito, I will already have learned to use the face mask wherever I will be. Kahit na wala na po ganyang klaseng takot at naging normal na po, wala nang social distancing, wala nang mga lockdown, wala nang mga warnings. I think in a crowd or kung halimbawa ako'y sasakay ng MRT o bus, ako'y magsusuot ng mask. Kasi 70 years old na nga ako. Although sa tingin ko malakas ang aking immune system dahil alaga po ako sa aking katawan, sa aking dieta, sa exercise ko. But we have a long way to go. I want to reach 100. And of that, 20 years pa to be productive. So I have to take care. And there is no other person who can take care of anyone except oneself. So anyway, that's a good news na medyo nag-a-adjust na ang mentality ng iba't ibang mga tao. And then go signal na lang if really things become normal. And pag-iingat na lang on an individual basis. Well, maybe next year, pwede na ito. Yes, Kaana.
Pero sa akin naman po, as we go along with our vaccination, yung bakuna po natin, I think in a matter of time, yun nga lang po, syempre ang problema kasi sa vaccine is still the supply, from ang supply sa international market, medyo hindi pa talaga ganun kalaki. So kaya nga nagkakaroon din tayo ng problema in terms of voltahe. Pero habang dumadami po ang nababakunahan at habang yung tao po, mga Pilipino ay nagpapabakuna, I think we will achieve that situation po na baka back to new normal tayo. Na to a certain extent po, magiging mas mas may freedom na tayo to travel, at least though naka-wear ka pa ng mask at naka-face shield ka pa, but at least you can travel. Travel na to different places, you can go to the beach, you can go to, yung domestic tourists and gagalaw po. I think in a matter of time po, makikita na po natin yan.
Okay. There are some good news here, no? Yung mga early birds po natin, na inahandaan na po o pinadala na po, on the way na ang mga libro ni Kaado, si Maria Lourdes Malyari, yung nag-email ata sa iyo, nag-text sa iyo, no? On the way na po, no? And si Jose Pete Arce, ang ating kaibigan na si Pete, parating na po ang libro mo, Pete, no? Si Robert Agnes, si Wilfredo or Wilfred Montino, is this correct, no? Or Montano. Anyway, si Antonio Miguel Carlos, Fernando Dizon, si Jeffrey C. Siasico, si Evelyn, si Juliet Camaro, nag-email na po o nag-text sa akin po, no, na na-receive niya. And then dito si Lawrence Alpin, salamat po sa aklat, Mentong, Kaado at Kaana. Pogi nga si Kaado at nosebleed ako sa lalim ng Ingles. Mabuti may Google. Okay, and meron pa dito si Edgardo Lumen. Good evening mga kabansa. Thank you po. At na-receive ko na po yung book ni Kaado. Salamat po daw. No? So thank you. And thank you all for tuning in, joining us in learning about all these continuing developments sa buhay ng sangkatauhan at sa inyong tulong sa pagkalat po ng ating mga aral na nakukuha sa history, sa pagsusuri, sa ating paghahanap ng katotohanan sa mga tinatawag na facts. No? And so this is a life mission. In fact, it is a mission that is I think the pinnacle of human life, no? Itong ginagawa po natin. Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. So that's the good news from Okta and Father Nicanor Ostriaco. The next, of course, now is yung crash po ng aeroplano, C-130, which is very sad. The last news I got is 50 na po ang confirmed dead. At meron pang critical conditions. Meron mga nag-survive na. That is the good news there. If that can be called a good news, I hope they are not crippled for the rest of their lives. But may political angle po ito. This is why I am reporting this to you. Kasi ang ulat po ng mga eyewitnesses, marami pong nakuquote, mga tausug residents or citizens of Holo, nung pabagsak na po daw na nakita nila yung aeroplano, kulang ng mga gulong. Either hindi bumaba o may nangyari, one set of wheels lang po daw ang nakita nila. Paano makokontrol ang landing? Of course, meron na akong nakita ng mga video na mga nagland na walang gulong o may isang gulong, pero halos masunog na yung aeroplano dahil yung friction, sumasabi yung gasolina. But dito po sa ating pinoproject ngayon sa screen, I hope you can see it. It's not on, let me check if it's on my screen here. Dito, kita po ninyo. Kaliwa, Philippine Star. Ang sabi po, crashed military plane tried to land with incomplete set of wheels. Sorry na natakpan nata yung last letter ng wheel. Sabi ng mga witness. Sabi ng isang witness dito, pero I've read several accounts of several witnesses. Pero ngayon alam na natin po ito yung pasama sa mga donasyon sa Pilipinas ng Amerika na dumating nung Enero 28. Bagong dating po na lumang aeroplano. Pero dapat po fully refurbished po yan at nang mapalipad po yan na safe and secure. Kaya po napansin ko po sa Facebook, sa Google search ng news, na nagdagsa po ang American media, na sinasabi ito ay aksidente, and so on, at hindi binabanggit itong mga accounts ng eyewitnesses, and so napansin ko rin sa Pilipinas yung mga American boys o amboys na inaasahan po nila lagi ay nagsilabasan po, tulad nitong si Jose Custodio. Yan po, nasa screen po ninyo. Si Jose Custodio ay sariling self-styled, ika nga sa English, na military historian daw, UP historian daw, na naging expert sa military history, which is doubtful, because I have seen him, I've listened to him, I've watched him, I've debated with him. Very doubtful po yung kanyang credentials as military historian. Pero ito po ay suportado ng One News at ng mga mainstream media ng Rappler, ABS-CBN dati, and so on. Laging in-interview yan basta may issue sa West Philippine Sea, laban sa China. Lumalabas po yan bigla. Tulad ngayon, lumabas at in-interview ng One News Media. At ang ganyang binibigyan na diin hindi, masama kasi yung airport sa Hulo. Masama, yun, badly designed Hulo Airport. At napansin ko rin si Gary Alejano sa Facebook, yun ang sinasabi. Yung Hulo Airport, matagal na pong problema yan, sabi ni Gary Alejano. Kaibigan ko si Gary, kaya hindi ko siya binabanggit. Pero dito, sobrang nahalata po siya na hindi niya binanggit po yung mga eyewitness accounts. I'm sorry kung hindi po niya nabasa yung mga ulat, so I will be willing to retract if he tells me, Mentong, hindi ko naman nabasa yung eyewitness testimonies and so on. Okay, pero being a public person, he should be more careful because I think he is wrong in going public and lumalabas po like what he has showed in the past few years na very pro-American siya. Pero ito si Jose Custodio, talagang lagi kong tinatarget po ito. Talagang, kasi nagka-screama na kami sa Facebook dati. At nung wala na siyang masagot at halatang-halata na amboy siya, sabi niya, bahala ka na dyan. Basta't ako, nandito ako sa New York, nagkakape ako sa 5-star hotel. Parang sinasabi niya, Bella, masaya naman ako dito. So, I don't know if I have a second image dyan. Wala po. So, that one ang aking... now, this will change, I think, the attitude of many Filipinos to these American donations. Although marami ng dati pa, matagal nang nirereklamo to. Pero sobrang maraming namatay ngayon. And this is the fourth. In a very short time. Tatlong helicopters na ang bumagsak. Dalawang helicopters at isang aeroplano where we lost, I think, a female pilot. Sige, marinig naman namin yung kuro-kuro mo dito, Maestra Alan.
Yun nga po, tama nga po kayo. Tatlo na yan Yung una, dalawa yung una, di ba? Pero hindi siya C-130 It's much more Black Hawk, I think, no? Tapos ito naman ngayon, ito yung mahirap, ito yung masakit. Kasi C-130, maraming mga sundalo natin ang nakasakay. Ilan na po ata, hindi ko ako sure sa figures pero mga 40 na ba? Ang
muling basa ko, 50 na.
50 na pala ang naano. So, ibig sabihin, almost 50% of those na nakasakay doon, nasawi. Masakit po yun. Kasi kung titignan nyo po, kung ang mga eyewitness ang titignan mo, yung mga nakakita doon sa insidente, kasi syempre may mga community doon Kung nakita nyo po, sinasabi nga nila na hindi nga po, parang isang gulong lang ng eroplano ang lumabas para makapag-landing siya. No? Parang emergency kasi landing ang nangyari. Pero ang nangyari po, hindi. Kasi magagasgas ka talaga kasi may friction yan. Malakas kasi yung niyan yung impact. Yung impact kasi yung problema dyan. Siyempre sasabog yan dahil may engine ka, may oil ka, may fuel. No? So ang ko lang dan, masakit yan. Lalo na sa presidente kasi siya yung ang chief na commander-in-chief. At the same time, masakit din sa Pilipinas kasi mga sundalo natin yan na nagtatanggol sa atin, lalo na yung mga lumalaban sa mga terorista sa Mindanao na side. So, ang ko dyan, ang puro-puro ko naman po dyan, imbestigahan siya. Hindi lang sa maniwala ka sa mga tulad ng sinasabi nyo na si Mr. Custodio na it's all about the airport. Ganito lang naman ang ko dyan ang banat ko din dyan. Kung ang airport ang sisisihin mo, ilang eroplano na ba ang lumanding sa airport na yan before pa? Hindi, wala namang nangyayaring di ba? Nakakalanding naman ng mabuti yung mga ibang eroplano na lumanding before that incident happened or accident or whatever, anumang tawag mo dyan na nangyari. So, bakit mo sisisihin ang airport per se? Diba?
Yes,
so, ang ko dyan, that's a very illogical way of justifying things. Hindi mo makita ang logic doon Bakit mo sisisihin yung airport? Ibig sabihin, sisisihin mo yung runway ng airport?
Yeah.
No, you cannot. You cannot do that. Ang kailangan mong investigahan is anong nangyari sa eroplano? May malfunction ba? Saan ba nanggaling ang malfunction and all that? Bakit
Yeah.
isang gulong lang ang lumabas? So I
Yeah.
think sa dami po ng namatay at nasawi nating mga sundalo, it deserves some investigation
Yeah.
po.
Well,
Kasi
right now, yeah, Maestra, they have found the black box, yung recorder, no? Ang
Mhm.
pinag-aalala ko lang tungkol dito sa black box, ang pinadala nila sa Estados Unidos, doon babasahin yung record. So baka naman magkaroon ng interest ang mga Amerikano in the interest of protecting itself, maglabas po ng impormasyon na hindi accurate. Sana sa mga third party po nila pinadala yung pagbabasa ng black
hindi
box.
da- dahil doon sila ang Amerika lang ang may kakayahang basahin ng black box.
I
Ganun ho
don't
ba
think
ang
so. I don't think so nga, no? But
That's even my question. Why do you have to send it to the US for reading and decoding? Kasi di-decode mo kung anong nangyari na conversation before the incident happened. That's how it is eh. Yung black box ang magsasabi kung anong mga nangyari doon sa loob ng eroplano before the incident happened.
That's
So
right.
i-decode nila yan. Lahat i-extract nila yon eh. Ang ano ko dyan, bakit sa United States nila, sa Estados Unidos pinadala? Wala ba tayong kakayahan na basahin yon? I mean, that's a bit far-fetched for me, no? Bakit
Yeah,
ganon? Or bakit hindi na lang sa ibang bansa na neutral?
that's right. Yeah.
Diba? I mean, kasi ang eroplanong yan, galing sa United States yan eh. Estados Unidos yan ang galing. Donated ata yan or binili natin?
Yeah.
Refurbished, no?
Well,
So, I
ang
mean,
sabi,
for us to have an refurbished po,
yung sinasabing binili po natin, that's a complex arrangement, no? Merong military assistance ang US na budget, no? So mula sa budget na 'yan, tayo ay bibili. Sa budget nila, tayo ay bibili. So actually donation. Kaya sometimes it's described as donation, sometimes sa ibang mga ulat binili natin, no? Pero that is classified as a trade. And so yung mga military sales sa atin na military donations ang kabilang mukha, ay kanilang nire-register as part of the trade between the Philippines and the US. Kaya lumalaki ang trade trade relation ng Philippines at Estados Unidos. So that's another trick na importanteng maintindihan. Pag tinitingnan natin yung trade statistics, dati sinasabi the US is the biggest trading partner of the Philippines. Yung pala kalahati po noon ay yung military sales and military assistance agreement. So maraming tricks po itong mga Amerikano. Anyway, that is
go before we go to the next topic po. Ang ano ko lang doon sa black box, it should be read or decoded by an independent party, I think, no? Na objectively makikita talaga at walang any suspicion at all na mababasa po yung kung anong nangyari. So mas ganun pa yung ano ko. Tsaka hindi ko maintindihan bakit kailangan mo ipadala sa United States yung black box. Yun pa yung ano ko eh.
Yeah,
Pwede namang
basahin.
Basahin dito yan eh.
Well, baka yung electronics no, we cannot really tell, no? Baka only certain countries have the capability, although I do think we should be able to, but I'm not sure, no? Kasi highly technical yan. Maganda itong reaction ni Lawrence Alpin, sabi niya, bine-blame sa hangin. Meron din ako nabasa dahil sa tailwind daw, And sabi niya, kahit na ang C-130 daw talagang ginawa for mga pangit na runway kasi warplane yan di ba?
Warplane yan eh.
And then tapos na nangyari pa ito sa Phil American Friendship Day, July 4th.
July 4.
Originally, that was our Philippine Independence Day din. Binago natin to follow the Malolos Constitution, June 12, no? That's why I say this week has changed Philippine history.
It is.
July 3 din eh. And July 4 pala nagsalita si, if I'm not mistaken, July 4 nagsalita si Ilbay Sa article
Mm-mm.
po ata ni responding to the article of
Carpio.
Carpio, July 2 or 3. Mabilis ang response ni Hilbay kasi palagay ko matagal na niyang kinikip-kip sa kilikili niya yung galit kay Carpio. Eh ngayon na yumaon na po yung si Noynoy Aquino, I think Hilbay felt free to come out into the open about this information about Carpio. Okay, well, that's the C-130 crash. Very sad, but let's move on to the next development this week. July 2 pala po yung hindi, July 2 may ulat ang Inquirer. So July 1, po sulat po si Carpio sa kanyang column sa Inquirer, nung mga so-called division daw nung mga legal groups sa gobyerno ni Noynoy Aquino, yung Samar versus the Samar versus Balay Group, di ba?
Mhm.
And so on, no? So parang pinapalabas
Factions daw, factions.
ang gulo-gulo daw nila, pero siya ang bida, siya ang no? Kaya napikon si Hilbay, naglabas po siya, ito, sa post ni Sasrogan daw, Sasot, sabi nitong headline, Hilbay drops bomb on Carpio in West Philippine Sea case. And sabi ni Hilbay doon sa kanyang 5-page expose, from that point on, I suspected Carpio, was also in favor of a deal with China. Because Carpio was actually working with Del Rosario. Del Rosario na isang director po ng mga kumpanya ni Manny Pangilinan. Manny Pangilinan na empleyado po ng Salim Group. And yung Salim Group na interesado na mahawakan kundi mag-joint venture sa China nung Reed Bank oil and gas extraction. Yun po ang buong storya dyan. Kaya simula pa po nung 2012, pinagtsempohan po nitong sila Salim, yung grupo niyang mga corporate planners, doon sa pivot to Asia ni Obama, dahil very influential si Manny Pangilinan sa finance oligarchs ng mundo. Si Manny Pangilinan ang co-chair ng US-Philippine Council with dating CIA Director Negro Ponte. So these are information that is important for people to understand. And so sumakay po sila doon sa pivot to Asia ni Obama, at nakita naman nila Kirk Campbell ng State Department na magandang issue ito laban sa Chinang magagamit nila para sa information war, para sa legal warfare or lawfare na tawag. Kanya nga ang ginamit. Sila din kasama itong right-wing na Hapon na aking research na po, yung nag-appoint po sa ITLOS ng mga members ng Permanent Court of Arbitration. Isang Hapon na, in fact, I can retrieve it here if you will give me the time. I'll take a look just in a while. And ang pinili nga nitong Hapon na to, which I will try to get in a while. Okay, ito po, si Sunji Yanai, isang colleague po ni Shinzo Abe. Shinzo Abe na anak po ng isang naging premier po ng Japan, na anak po ng isang Japanese Second World War militarist, and so on. So, in analyzing these things po, I try to go to history, and sometimes it takes a lot of time to explain the whole of history on a specific case like this. Pero dito po ninyo natin lahat, including me, by studying this, I understood yung kabuuan ng mga storyang ito at anong katotohanan. And so, manipulado lahat ng corporate interest ng Salim Group and then ng State Department. Kaya po, nagkaka-weaving together, parang tapestry. Parang kumbaga carpet na, how do you say weave in Tagalog? In Bisaya, do you know?
Habi. Nagkakahabi-habi or
inahabi nila.
Inahabi, oo.
Yung mga pangyayari.
Kwento, yung kwento.
So kaya naman ang State Department ginamit din ito, West Philippine Sea issue, para subukan ang resolve ng China dito sa South China Sea. Kasi nung nag-arbitration decision na noong 2016, July 12, ilang araw nakaraan, nagpadala ng 2 aircraft carrier dito sa region natin ng Estados Unidos. Inimbita ng China ngayon na top general ng China, yung top Asia Pacific or Pacific Command, commander ng US sa China. At dito, ito ay mababasa po ninyo kay General Victor Corpus sa mga kanyang ulat at columns sa Manila Times. And even before that, and in my TV show before, ngayon ay opinion ngayon, it was under another name. Na sinabi ni Victor Corpus, and nasubaybayan ko din yung mga ulat sa Western media, bumisita ang American General doon at umuwi. Winidraw ang aircraft carriers at hindi natuloy ang anumang banggaan ng China at US. In other words, pinaliwanag ng China, we are ready to go to war. Yun din ang sulat po ni Vic Corpus. We are ready to go to war on this island reclamation and control of the South China Sea. And so, palagay ko, before this happened, sinubukan ng Amerikano through Kurt Campbell, utusan si Noynoy Aquino, padala mo ang naval ship natin, gray ship, di ba? Ana, you're aware of that, di ba? Hindi white ship, hindi Coast Guard. Gray ship, Navy ship, which is a signal for war sa international rules. And so, sinubukan talaga, inudyok talaga, hindi umatas ang China. And all the rest is history, of course. Walang saysa yung arbitration. And yung pala ngayon, na-discover natin, hindi naman sa hindi natin alam noon. Alam naman natin they were working for their self-interest lang. Pero ngayon, kumpirmado ng kasama nila mismo. So that is why this is so important. And this story will be told and retold in the many, many weeks and months to come. Kaya sira na po sila Castro, sila Del Rosario, wasak na po ang kredibilidad nila, wasak na po yung kaso nila. So, sorry it took me so long to explain so many things, pero my past 12 years has been spent on trying to explain this to the people.
Yes, that's right po. Tama po kayo doon. Kasi parang nangyari, kung babasahin nyo rin yung latest na article ni Sir Bobby Tiglao, ganon din ang sinasabi niya, kaparehas ni Mentong. Parang ginawa nila, may mga factions din kasi sa loob ng gobyerno ata ni Pinoy. Yun nga ang lumalabas if you discern mo yung sinulat ni ni
Bobby
Hilbay.
Tiglao.
Oo. At saka ni Bobby Tiglao at saka ni Hilbay mismo na may mga factions doon. Oo. Tapos iba-iba yung kanilang agenda kung bakit sila nag-file doon sa pagpa-file ng case sa Hague ng against China over the South China Sea issue, especially sa Scarborough Shoal. Yung parang lumalabas po kasi yung kina Carpio plus Del Rosario, since sila ay associated sa Salim Group ni Pangilinan, much more I think dun sa oil exploration and gas joint development. Na through that, parang they put pressure on China to actually give concession at saka yung partnership nga dun sa gas and oil joint development project sa private sector. Ang problema lang nila, China did not agree. Ayaw ng China. I think China wants to have a state-to-state partnership.
That's right. I think
ayaw ata ng to.
Dahil ang laging sinasabi ni Ado, ni Mauro, and yung mga kasama natin. Ang gusto ng China, kausap nila ang gobyerno. Joint venture, and which is what will be good for us, so we have learned a lot of these things. Yung mga nagoyo po nila Carpio, sana magising at maging matibay po ang loob nyo na aminin na kayo ay nagoyo, and sumama na po kayo doon sa mga pumapanig sa katotohanan. Okay, and thank you from Koyi SP. dito sa note sa ni Kadyo sa atin. Anong dahilan na sa may tulong bang pinadala? Si Koyi SP, for Facebook, Anyway, susulat po ni Kadyo sa Facebook supporter. Okay, thank you, Koyi SP, one of our Facebook supporters. Our next image is what we made in 2018, to expose nga itong hoax. Itong nasa screen po ninyo, kita niyo. Gawa namin ni Kajos po ito. Si Reichler, yung abogadong Amerikano, nasabi kay De Rosario, thanks for the 350 million plus pesos. Hope the Filipinos won't know it's a hoax. Ihilbay po yung kalbong nakaupo po doon. And U.S. Attorney Paul Reichler with Ambassador Rosario and Soljan Hilbay at the PCA hearing in The Hague 2016. Ayan po. I hope you enjoy the humor. And ito umabot ng 100,000 po ang views and hits and sharing. Pero nung umabot na ng ganyang kadami po, ay binan po ng Facebook. Kaya wala tayong panalo sa Facebook. Wala tayong panalo dyan kasi pag nagiging epektibo na po ang mensahe po natin, puputulan po nila. Anyway.
Actually, kanina, yung sinishare ko yung sa EDC at saka Philbricks na Media Forum for Tomorrow, I was sharing it to friendly groups, FB groups. Pangalawa ko palang share, ni-reprimand na ako ng FB. Sabi na ganun. Dalawa pa lang samantalang before, kahit nga 5, 6, 7, walang problema Pero itong specific na to, Media Forum bukas, i-reprimand din, parang kinonstrain nila ako na, you've already reached your limit in sharing. So, ganun. Grabe. Grabe. Kanina, na-shock ako po. Sabi ko, bakit ganun?
And ang gumagawa niya ng Rappler at saka Vera Files, And sino pa ba naistahan na? Basta ako, alam ko, Vera Files. Lagi ko...
fact checker ng fake.
Binan nga ulit. Actually, banned ako for 30 days. Siguro 1 linggo nang nakaraan. Hindi ako nag-i-inquire na. Bayaan ko na. Marami naman tayong technique at guerrilla war techniques sa Facebook. Now it's 6:57, almost 7 o'clock. And our guest will be coming in. We're admitting actually Madam Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno into our Zoom room now, and we will see her beautiful visage in a few seconds. And let me see. We have already admitted Madam Lou, as you call her, Anna.
Si Dr. Lourdes po, Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno po. Opo.
Okay, we're waiting and let me see. Yun natin doon sa screen natin. Okay, and let me see. Okay, habang naghihintay po tayo, let's move on to the next item that we have prepared. Baka ito naulat po natin last Friday and I think last Sunday. But we'll also repeat the report dito sa audience natin. This is a power think. Congratulations to the Philippine-China congratulations to Philippine-China cooperation. The Kaliwa Dam begins. Kasi po nung mga nakarang araw po, nag-groundbreaking na po ang Kaliwa Dam construction with Chargé d'Affaires Tan Ching Sen and sino ba sa Manila side, sa Philippine side na dumalo, wala po rito ang mga pangalan. Pero yung construction po nito ay magsisimula na po, and so this will assure us, there she is, there's Madam.
Hello po. Good evening.
Okay. Do you do the honors, Maestra Ana?
Opo, good evening po, Dr. Lou.
Good evening, Ana.
Opo, tinatawag ko siyang Dr. Lou kasi ang kanyang buong pangalan is Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno. Siya po ay isa sa ating mga awardees or laureates ng Awards for Promoting Philippine-China Understanding under the Outstanding category. Magandang gabi po at maraming salamat po sa pagpapa-unlock po sa inyo, po sa amin sa pag-i-interview po sa inyo. At i-introduce ko po kayo properly para po malaman ng ating mga audience at mga kabansa. Medyo mahaba-haba ng konti, Mentong. Mentong
Sure,
pala is
go ahead.
also co-awardees po. Meet the co-awardees po.
Yeah. Kumusta po?
Buti naman. Very happy to meet you and to know
Happy
you.
to meet you too.
I have been very active in some years past, no, with some of your people there at Angeles University, like Kevin Pamintuan. You know him?
Ano po, I was with Angeles University 6 years ago.
Okay.
And then
Well-
I moved to UP Diliman after AUF.
Yeah. Well, I seem
University
to
of the
be.
Philippines Diliman po ako ngayon with
Yeah.
Chancellor Mike Tan.
Yeah. Okay, we have a brief bio note about you here, but let's go back to Maestra Ana.
Okay, I will introduce Dr. Lu. Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno is a true academician and esteemed public intellectual. Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno is a Filipino with Chinese ancestry who takes pride in her bicultural roots. She was born and raised in Angeles, Pampanga, where she obtained her bachelor degree in education, major in English and general science. With as an honor student, no, cum laude po si Dr. Lu. Her inherent passion for knowledge and learning led her to years of further study in the field of education. She has a Master's of Education degree in Communication Arts, reading from the University of the Philippines, Diliman, a postmasteral degree in School Administration and Supervision with distinction at the Johns Hopkins University in Maryland in the United States, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Education, major in Educational Management and Leadership obtained at the De La Salle University in Manila. Backed by her robust academic training and relevant professional, corporate, and international experience in both private and public sector, Dr. Nepomuceno is a visionary in her own right. This enabled her to anticipate the needs and demands of emergent realities in a globalized world. In an era where China is no longer viewed as another player but a formidable force to reckon with in globalization, Dr. Nepomuceno employs her knowledge and passion in aiding communities to bridge major socio-cultural gaps through language and communication arts. Being herself a product of two cultures, Filipino and Chinese, not only makes her appreciate her roots, but also enables her to navigate her way into advancing her passion for education. Since in 2009, beginning with her hometown of Angeles, Pampanga. By the way, my husband po is from Pampanga, Angeles City din po. Dr. Nepomuceno co-established the Confucius Institute at the Angeles University Foundation. Among others, the institute promotes an understanding and appreciation of Chinese culture and the teaching of Mandarin language. In 2015, Dr. Nepomuceno was welcomed by the University of the Philippines, Diliman, to lead the establishment of the Confucius Institute. Ito ngayon yung Confucius Institute in Diliman.
Yes.
No? Over the years, Dr. Nepomuceno has built up many ties with government entities, city colleges and universities, as well as private sector, to the extent that the Confucius Institute at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, has now the broadest outreach in Mandarin and Mandarin lessons. In both setup, Dr. Nepomuceno holds the distinction of being the pioneer Filipino director. Wow. It is noteworthy that her commitment to education in general and advocacy for the appreciation of Chinese language and culture have also benefited Philippine society, specifically during the term of Education Secretary Brother Amin Luistro. Dr. Nepomuceno initiated and advanced the inclusion of the Mandarin language in the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education as a special program in foreign language. The program greatly facilitates the diversification of the skill sets of Filipinos and provides them a headway in employment all over and also personal development and worldwide. No, it is for this effort that the Association for Philippine-China Understanding, or APCO, and the Award for Promoting Philippine-China Understanding, or APPCU, recognized Dr. Lourdes Tanueco Nepomuceno as an inspiration and wealth to Philippine society and the global Filipino and the Chinese community. So that's why she is one of our awardees, because of the so many things that she have done in promoting culture. It's much more, I think, on the cultural side, no, like language, culture exchanges, and also the build up of the two institutes actually, no,
Yes.
sa Angeles and University Foundation and in the UP Diliman. Welcome po to our program, and marami pong nanonood sa inyo po.
Anna, and welcome Ka Herman.
Yes,
Herman.
Good evening po. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me tonight. And I'm grateful that I met you. And I've heard your name before, Herman, but I'm glad to meet you virtually, face to face.
Thank you. And for Maestra Anna to catch her breath, let's give her some time, and I will go through some of the direct results, positive results of your work, because of the requirement for Mandarin in some of the Philippine institutions like the Department of Science and Technology. I think you had this program. You have a picture here with Chica Santa Romana about your extensions with the DOST. And you also have helped the Department of Foreign Affairs Foreign Service Institute.
Yes.
Likewise, the Bureau of Immigration has availed of your assistance. And I can remember in 2018 this picture where you were and with the president of UP in the, I think this is called the inauguration or the launching of the UP Confucius Institute. I was there in that occasion, just in front of all of you there, taking some pictures and videos, and I remember it very clearly. But I was 4 years younger at that time, and I remember that after that I inquired, and there were delays of the with the Confucius Institute in UP. There were some discussions about it amongst the faculty. I understand. Now maybe you can clarify some of the events and what is the status now of the Confucius Institute in the University of the Philippines? Because I was waiting for quite some time, hoping to take my language lessons in UP, because at that time I was staying in Quezon City to be nearer. But then I've moved to Pasig, and so it's far. But what's the status? So I'm giving you a lot of things to discuss. But I'd like to also to say, I think sometime 2016, 2017, I covered some of your activities in the Confucius Institute in Angeles University. I met your head Chinese, or what do you call her, principal or what?
Chinese director.
Director. I had several discussions with her, but your effort at establishing it in 2009 was the first effort in setting up a Confucius Institute. Am I correct there?
Yes, actually, that was the introduction, and we attended the global conference in 2009. But the actual inauguration of Confucius Institute at AUF was in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, according to Hanban, the funding agency of CIs before, they actually approach University of the Philippines first because they want to tap the national university. But it took 8 years for UP to say yes and establish the Confucius Institute. Because as a national university, there are a lot of consultations to be made before you can decide in a national university. So that took a while, and so they approached Ateneo, and that's why Ateneo de Manila University was the first CI in the Philippines, which was established in 2006, and UP was established in 2015. So that long before they were able to decide to establish one at the University of the Philippines.
Mm.
And since the establishment of UP in 2015, and there was a Chinese director who took over first before I joined, because it takes a while to process the papers in UP. So when I was hired to manage the institute, then our Confucius Institute in UP took off, and until now it's thriving well, because we have a different model that we used. All CIs are established to promote Chinese language and culture. Okay, that is our mission. All of us, that is our mission to establish. But we remain apolitical, and we just deal with Chinese language education. And we know that Chinese language education exerts influence in the mainstream society. So what the Confucius Institute in UP did was to tap a multi-sectoral part of the society. Therefore, we tap the key government agencies in the Philippines. And our first project was partnering with the Foreign Service Institute of the Department of Foreign Affairs. We signed the MOA and we started our classes. And the model that we use is a different model from the other Confucius Institutes, because what the Department of Foreign Affairs asked us is to make sure that the would-be or the prospective ambassadors and consuls will have to finish 100 hours of Mandarin, whether it is level 1, level 2, level 3. So 80% of that is focused on language, and 10% is focused on language appreciation, which is more on the cultural side. And we were able to graduate 3 batches already. And we are still in the process of conducting classes there. And this time, because of the pandemic, we do it remotely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I remember. I remember one name now. Dr. Wu.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
now back in
Jimmy
Fujian
Wu.
province.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yes.
finished his term. They only have a 2-year term.
And who replaced Jimmy? Jimmy Wu.
There was another one, but he did not really support the CI, UP. So he was recalled by Xiamen University, our partner university. So a lady Chinese director, Wang Jiajia, took over, and we were able to work together, but her term also finished. So we have an incoming Chinese director, and because of the pandemic and the travel restrictions, she is not with me yet. So I am doing everything just like before, making sure that we have a full support to the contracts and the MOAs that we signed with the key government agencies. Pre-pandemic and pandemic, the only difference is that it is remote teaching and learning now, but it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah, Maestra Ana, you have any questions for
Yes
the
po.
Doctora?
Dr. Lu, when you talk about teaching, in terms of teachers po, are all Chinese or Filipino Chinese, or
Yes.
combination?
As regards to our teachers, University of the Philippines, Diliman, is very selective. They want the Chinese teachers to be at par with the university professors. Therefore, our teachers are not local teachers. They are not Chinese from Binondo or where else. They come from Xiamen University with master's degree and doctoral degree. because they are under the visiting professorship program of the University of the Philippines. Therefore, they have to meet the necessary qualifications.
Oh, in
That
UP
is
po ba?
why,
I'm
yes, sorry.
no
That is
ma'am.
why,
Continue,
aside
ma'am.
from teaching non-degree and credit courses in different city colleges and universities, they are allowed to handle master's degree students in UP because of their degree. They have
Mm.
PhD. So that is
Ah,
another unique feature of our CI. All our teachers are masters and PhD holders.
wow. So
Yes.
it's really like high level, and you're really
Yes, they are high level.
high
Yeah.
level, no? It's not just an institute that teaches language and that's it,
No,
no?
yeah. The degree is so
Yeah,
important in UP because it is our national university.
university. Yes, I understand po. I'm from UP too.
Yeah, yeah. And they are visiting professors. They are actually under the visiting professorship. That's why we can afford to give them a working visa.
Ah, yeah, that's great
Yes,
po.
yes,
So in the institute po, it there are other activities, like for example, one of that is in engagement, no? And then like
yes,
you have engagement and community service with partner organization like the
yes.
DFA and the Bureau of
Immigration.
Immigration. But and on the other hand, do you do research as well in the institute po?
Yes. In our institute, we follow the three important uh, aspects of being a UP entity. One of them is teaching, another is community engagement, and the third one is research. We are very active in researches. In fact, I did some research, two researches, wherein one was presented at the University of Hawaii in Manoa last January. So I went there and I was one of the speakers on language pedagogy at the University of Hawaii in Manoa. So the Center for Chinese Language there, Chinese Studies, invited me as one of the speakers. And we were, I think, around 30 from all over the world. And fortunately, I was the only one from the Philippines and representing the University of the Philippines. And that research was funded by UP Diliman. It was a research grant wherein I presented it to at the University of Hawaii in Manoa.
In terms of exchanges and dialogue, do we also, like, for example, send our student to China, to the Xiamen University, and Xiamen University will send students here?
Yes,
Do you have that kind of
yes.
activity
In
as well?
fact, before the pandemic, I assisted my UP masteral students who are taking international marketing to Xiamen University. And we were there for a week for the experiential learning portion of the course. So professors from Xiamen University handled the international marketing courses, short courses for them. And that is the final exam was done there at Xiamen University. And
Wow.
then, in the meantime, while my students are attending classes conducted by Xiamen University professors, I actually guest lectured, one of the guest lecturers of the College of Foreign Studies. And that is where I discussed the language pedagogy and also the Belt and Road, the Philippine style. So I was able to really promote the Philippine-China understanding there because the audience were actually PhD students from all over the world. They are foreign students, not only Chinese, but foreign students. So they got a feel of how we promote Philippine-Chinese relationship, our bilateral relations. So I gave them my background information, and then we had a dialogue. And it was a healthy, productive meeting because some of the notions that the media has been, publishing in the media was entirely different from what they heard from me. So they said it is a really an eye opener for them. So actually, that was the second lecture I conducted at Xiamen University. And we also have experts from Xiamen University who visits UP, and they also give lectures to UP students. And our partner, city colleges and universities.
So is it safe to assume that you speak Mandarin also?
Well, very little.
We're the
But I
same.
can understand. Yes.
We're the same. I'm also.
Anyway, when Hanban, our funding agency, conducted our executive training for foreign directors, they emphasized to us that Confucius Institutes are clearly soft power diplomacy tools. But we are apolitical, wherein we do not deal with politics, whether it is politics in China or politics in the Philippines. Our mission here is to promote Chinese language education so that we will be able to reach the grassroots of the Philippine mainstream society. We do not only deal with students who go to private universities, but the Confucius Institute in UP top the city colleges, wherein these colleges are subsidized by city mayors. Therefore, the students are all scholars. They come from the grassroots. So we give them an opportunity to actually make a difference in their lives. So by not just staying here and by learning Mandarin, that is an edge on their part. And they will be able to actually work, even if they will not finish a 4-year degree course, because they have an edge. So that is our mission as a Confucius Institute. We don't deal with politics. We are apolitical.
Yeah. Well, for the past 10 years, it has been my ambition to join one of the courses in the Ateneo CI or Angeles is too far, but UP was one option. But I'm getting
is
older.
Open. We conduct,
But I'm getting older and older, and time was a constraint. Now added the years. But I had 6 years of school Mandarin studies, but I never really learned to speak nor read the newspaper. But it's always very interesting to, a dream to become fluent again in Mandarin. But you mentioned something about the uniqueness of your program in the UP Confucius Institute. Is it in the language program itself, a different approach in teaching? Because I really have been thinking about the different approaches to learning.
Yes, we are more
Mandarin.
integrative and academic. We don't only deal with non-degree courses, but we deal with courses with the credit courses mandated by CHED. And so we do not, we teach non-degree courses. We have a lot of students. In fact, if you are a UP student, administrator, faculty, or alumni, our Mandarin is free for them, for UP.
Wow.
Yes. And for the rest, we assess a very minimal fee. And if they belong to a government agency, if they work in any government agency, their Mandarin lesson is also free. But these are group classes.
So, Mama,
yes, Anna?
Mom, I will enroll.
Yeah, sure.
I want to
Sure. Now that we are doing it remotely, feel free. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, and Kaherman, you are welcome to join us.
Yeah.
We have the next cycle in September.
Even outsiders are allowed to enroll.
Yes, you can enroll. And then we have actually our one-on-one classes are for Xavier and Ika students. We have a lot of students wherein we also conduct reviews for their HSK exam.
Wow.
And all our students who were reviewed by our CI passed the HSK with flying colors.
Okay, that's great. And the one-on-one is there at the UP, or it's
Yes.
homeschooling or only Zoom schooling?
Now that it is pandemic, it's remote.
Mm.
But
But if
some
it,
students, they come on Saturdays to UP Diliman.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
really good to know, because I've been thinking
Yes.
about enrolling in Mandarin. That now that an alumni of UP is free, then I will
Yes.
take it. I will
Sure.
take it.
Join the next cycle, and it will be available in September.
Opo.
And
Ma'am,
as
I have
mentioned earlier, yeah, our teachers are from Xiamen University, and their courses are really their major is language teaching. So they can,
wow. So
yeah,
you will learn really, and it's
yeah, that's
from
right.
them, no?
Yeah.
Do you have
Ma'am, I have,
Doctor?
sige po.
Yeah, Anna. Go ahead, Anna.
No, sir. Ikaw muna po.
Mas sige. I was just going to ask if Dr.
Dr. Lu.
Nepomuceno, Dr. Lu, has some insight on the Filipino or Tagalog language being taught in Beijing. I visited, for example, the China Radio International, and they have a floor there where everybody speaks, including the Chinese, that speak Filipino and Tagalog. I wonder if you have
Yes.
had experience to visit them in their own Filipino
Yeah,
language school.
yes, we visited some of the students there, and we actually observed. And I think Ateneo de Manila has a program. I'm not sure if it is in Beijing or other parts of China, but they have a program, so as other universities, because there is a need. No? So to understand the country, you should at least know the language and the culture.
I think so. I would
Yeah.
agree with you, Dr. Lu.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mom, I have a question, because this is much more on your work, no? You are instrumental in the inclusion of Mandarin language in the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education as a special program in foreign language. My question is, why is it important, what for young people or young students to learn Mandarin po? And what do you think is the advantage, or what will be the advantage for Filipinos, especially the younger ones, that they know the language? And that's why you put it into the K-12 curriculum po.
Yes. Any language opens new vistas, not only economically, not only for economics, but all aspects of daily life. Maybe many Filipinos are unaware that many of our dishes come from China,
Yes.
Chinese food, and we deal with the food vendors, and some of our words are also Spanish in nature. No, so actually we Filipinos have different because we were colonized by Spain, by the US. So all these languages come into play. And learning Mandarin naman is not only on the economic side, it opens new opportunities for students. And they were interviewed during their course there. And after our trip, 2 of them were hired.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
They attended the experiential learning in Xiamen. And because of their learning exposure, they were able to, get a job in one in Shenzhen and one in Xiamen. So they
Wow.
open different aspects in life, not only economics, but other opportunities abound, no, for them. That is why DepEd realized that offering a foreign language like the SPFL program of DepEd opens doors, opportunities for grades 7 to 12. That's where the SPFL program is being offered. So 4 units lang, no, for foreign language. So they have the option to take Mandarin, Spanish, German, Korean, Spanish, and French. So they are actually lucky to have all these options nowadays. Not like
Yes.
before. we have very limited opportunities before, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And when they will say, you take commerce, commerce is now the business administration. And business administration has a lot of and other different majors. Like before, only one. Now they open doors for them, even from K to 12. So the K to 12 program is very significant because they have the option to take a foreign language from grade 7 to 12.
Especially for our tourists, right? No,
Yeah.
I think 2 year before the pandemic, we have a lot of Chinese tourists in the country, and they visit. And I think if like some of our young people will be working part time in the tourist industry and they know Mandarin, easy communication.
Let me cite an example. We also partnered with the government-owned and controlled corporations such as the Subic, the SBMA, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, and the Clark Development Corporations. And there are several thousands of locators inside these eco zones.
Mhm.
What we did with SBMA and CDC was to offer Mandarin to their employees because pre-pandemic, there were ships that were docked in Subic. So we trained their employees so that they became the tour guides of the tourists, Chinese tourists. Chinese tourists who go to casinos in Subic and Clark.
Yes.
Yes, we were instrumental in that. So we opened doors to SBMA and Clark employees to specifically their tourism sector, and they were able to, the very basic, but they were able to converse with them. So
Yes,
there were
that's I
a
think
lot of, because when the ship comes, there were several hundreds of Chinese tourists. So what they did before pre-pandemic, they go from Subic, they go to Clark to play casino and to go to the bars and have a good time and shop. So the students and two of the city colleges that we are training are based in Clark. We have the City College of Angeles and Mabalacat City College. So some of the students there were part-time employees that time, pre-pandemic. See
they
what
earn. They earn.
learning a foreign language they can make a difference in the lives of the students.
Yes, especially those who really need some extra income to finance
Yes,
their
yes,
studies. No,
that's right.
that's
Yes.
really really important. Mentong, do you
Yes,
have
yes. Well, I think those who have learned, I've known some of them, young people who learned some Mandarin, immediately get higher wages in some of the companies around town. No? So that's already an immediate advantage. Um, so I think we should really salute the efforts of Dr. Lu
yes?
and a pioneer of that in this field. And I think her explanations are crystal clear. There are some points here nagtuturo. Let me see. Very informative,
From
and
the
I enjoyed
audience.
listening to Dr. Lule Pomoseno. I like the topic on Chinese-Philippine relations. This is from Hoven, Federio. There are others here. I have to scroll through them, so I don't think we have the time anymore. So I think it's such a inspiring discussion and inspiring personality that we have met tonight. Dr. Lu, thank you very much. Madam Ana, you do the honors of thanking our guest.
Yes po. But before we thank our guests, my last question po is, what do you think, ma'am, is the importance of promoting Philippine-China mutual understanding, friendship, and good relation? And your last closing message to our audience, which actually responded to you very positively. Ang dami pong nasa ano namin na they enjoyed our conversation po ngayon.
So leading Confucius Institute at UP amidst the current crisis And during its current infrastructure, kasi po, nag-rebranding ang Hanban. Ang Hanban, yung dati namin funding agency. Ngayon, with the rebranding, with the COVID, so leading CI is a challenge, a big challenge. So what we did, we reinvented the wheel, no? And we deal with, with a lot of projects remotely. So there is limited mobility and everything like that. But what we did, we did a great deal of reimagination. Reimagination and reforms to stay relevant and meaningful. So we will continuously add new vigor to the great purpose of the Chinese language education in the Philippines, and we will remain at the forefront of educational and cultural diplomacy, which means promoting Philippine-China relations.
With that, we would
Great.
like to thank you, Mom, for gracing our show.
Thank you
and
for having me.
For being here. Congratulations po. I'll see you on August 6th during
Okay,
the
thank
awarding
you.
ceremony.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
See you
See you on
then.
the 6th.
Congrats din po sa inyo, Ka-Herman.
Salamat po.
See you.
Salamat po.
And thanks,
Thank
Miss
you.
Anna. We'll
Thank
keep
you
in
po,
touch.
Ma'am. Yes,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Yan
Thank
po si
you.
Ginang Lourdes Tanhueco Nepomuceno na nakasama po natin. At maraming salamat sa kanya at sa mga tulad niya. At ang Pilipinas at ang China ay lalong iigting ang kooperasyon at magpapatuloy ang 1,000 ugnayan bilang kaibigan at kapatid. Thank you very much again and good night. Good day, Madam Tanhueco Nepomuceno.
Thank you.
Okay, so balik po tayo sa ating mga pinag-usapan dito and ito pong ating huling topic ay yung Kaliwa Dam, nagkaroon ng groundbreaking. And alam po ninyo, itong mga magagandang balita ay lagi nating hina-highlight para makita na talagang may konkretong benepisyo po ang relasyon ng Pilipinas at China. Tungkol dito, Kaana, if you want to add anything, although you're having your warm soup or hot soup, which you must have, it's almost after dinner already. Meron tayong video para makapagpahinga ka ng konti na tungkol dito sa susunod pa lang item po natin yung video. Ito pong susunod po ay yung pagbubukas itong Hunyo ng Estrella Pantaleon Bridge.
Pantaleon Bridge, yes.
Itong 90% complete na po as of June 21 po. Itong ulat na to, pero actually po ay 100% na po. Nililinis na para lang sa inauguration, pag ribbon cutting, itong buwan na to. At ito po ngayon, mapapanood po ninyo sa video, ay meron ng mga railings, meron ng lamppost, pintado na ng puti ang mga railings sa mga lamppost, at hangang-hanga po yung nagmo-monitor, whom we thank for doing all this monitoring. Gamit pa nila ang drone camera para makunan yung kabuuan po ng bridge and so on. So, Kaana, you can have a little snack before we go on. So, itong video kung handa na si Ka Joshua. Joshua, are you ready? Joshua, are you ready with the video? Natin, ready? Okay, so let's start rolling it.
In my
ko ay nakadito na, lalo yung FB
Ayun.
friends ko. Karamihan, ako wala pa kasi hindi pa ako binibilhan ng husband ko.
Tsaka ikaw talaga, hindi ka bumibili ng bago kung hindi ka mabigyan ng
Ay,
regalo
hindi tira.
ng husband mo.
From my own pocket, no. It has to come from my husband.
Mas in-chick ka kaysa sa husband mo.
Opo.
Tulad ng sinasabi ng misis ko rin, mas in-chick siya kaysa sa akin.
Oo.
Bicolana from Sorsogon.
Oh. Yung
Okay.
yung husband ko, yung Filipino-Chinese, actually.
No. Actually, also, tuloy tayo dito sa susunod na tulay na donasyon din ng China, Estrella Pantaleon Bridge. Halos matapos na po yan at it is expected to be inaugurated this September. No? Nagkamali ba ako ng basa? Yung
July.
Sorry. Yung isa pala, yung Binondo Intramuros, hindi ko nasama dito. Kasi naibalita na po natin din yun. But the new development po na ating pwedeng ibalita ngayon ay yung Energy China. At nagsimula na po yung construction ng the Philippines 115 megawatt photovoltaic power. Anong photovoltaic? Solar power. Station project. The project is invested by the Global District Power Corporation, a consortium composed of the Energy China and other local partners in the Philippines. And it is the EPC contractor. Yung EPC po ang contractor. Nandiyan po, kita po niyo yung mapa ng linan ng kuryente na manggagaling sa solar panels. And so after completion, the project will effectively enhance the regional power supply capacity, better the energy structure, and improve the living standards of local residents. So marami po yan, and that is the some of the updates. Of course, hindi na tayo naglagay ng mga ulat doon sa mga vaccines na dumarating sa Sinovac. Yung huling accounting po natin, itong Hunyo, nasa 12 million doses ng vaccines na dumating. I think meron pang, itong July, 5.5 million, kasi kasusulat ko lang ng article ko na nakasama ko yung information yan. 5.5 million Sinovac vaccines will be arriving this July.
Yes po. Mga third week.
Oo. So, that would make it mga 17 plus million na or 18 million doses na ng Sinovac. And pagdating po niyan at magamit na po yan, that would mean around 7 million Filipinos will be protected by Sinovac vaccines. Hindi pa po nakakapasok ang Sinopharm. So sa totoo lang, China lang talaga ang nagdi-deliver. Ang Estados Unidos, wala pa akong nakitang dumating. Meron lang yung kasama sa COVAX, which I think will be delivering 800,000 doses this July. Ang Japan, mga 1.2 million doses ng AstraZeneca, if I'm not mistaken, this July din. And then some other countries, Pfizer, direktang may supply po, darating, Moderna, and so on. Yan po ang update po dyan. Do you have anything new, Madam Ana?
Ay, ang sa akin lang, yung sa Sinopharm. Kasi meron na siyang EUA from WHO. Hindi ko lang maintindihan bakit parang ang tagal na mabigyan ng EUA dito sa Pilipinas na may EUA na siya sa WHO, sa COVAX facility. Kasi kung makakakuha din tayo ng halimbawa mga 25 million na Sinopharm, it will add to our portfolio po at mas marami pa pong mababakunahan ng mga Pilipino, tapos mas lalawak po ang ating protection, community protection, no? So mas mapapabilis pa po ang ating pagbabalik sa new normal. New normal dahil hindi ibig sabihin hindi ka na magmamask or mag-face shield. So yan po rin ang iniisip ko, bakit parang akala ko kasi ang DOH ang mag-a-apply na or magpo-process na ng EUA ng Sinopharm. Pero until now, wala pa po akong nakikitang balita kung ano na ang update. Oo, sana po maayos to kasi it will add to our portfolio. Mas lalawak pa po ng lalawak ang ating vaccination program. Kumbaga. So sana nga po magkaroon ng magandang update.
Okay, and so we go now briefly to the United States of America dahil yung nakaraang July 4th,
Ay,
Independence Day ng Amerika. Yes?
yung isang ating slide po about the Chinese-funded solar power station
Yes.
electrifying remote villages, hindi na nasali?
Itong Energy China ang nasali ko. Yung remote villages.
Hindi na. O kasi magandang storya po yan eh. Dahil just to give kasi binasa ko yung mga articles dyan. May yung tinatawag nilang Brighten Up project donated by State Grid Corporation of China or SGCC. It's a charitable project presented by the Chinese firm in the Philippines. Na mayroon silang mga beneficiaries sa New Baliwit, a remote village in San Marcelino, Zambales province.
That's right.
Hindi po kasi ito nailalathala sa ating mga pahayagan na may mga ganitong nangyayari na hindi na po nasa city, no, but nasa mga remote areas na yung Light is Hope. Yung Brighten Up project po installed a solar panel system capable of delivering power to some 1,000 residents, including 2 elementary schools with over 100 students. The project is expected to lift the villagers out of poverty kasi po yung mga villages na yon at saka yung village na yon at saka yung 2 school po na yon wala pong ilaw. So ngayon po, dun sa mga nabasa kong report at sa mga testimony po na nag-benefit po nung solar panel na yon, yung project na Brighten Up, nakakapag-aral na po sa gabi yung mga bata. Nagkakaroon na rin sila ng access sa communication through yung phone, at saka yung mga computers or computer-related na mga activities na gagawa na po ng village na yon at ng school. So malaking ginhawa po yun na nagkaroon sila ng solar panel donated by the SGCC. Oo, it's a private company. State eh. So it's a state company. No? Oo.
Yeah. Actually, nag-report ako dyan 2019 pa. No?
Okay po.
And kausap ko yung public school teacher there, si Judy Labio, no? Judy, pero lalaki po yun. No? And tinano ko nga na madala siya, pati yung school superintendent nila at ilang mga estudyante to Manila to interview them in our show na tawag natin Opinion Ngayon. At that time, it was another name. I forget right now, 2019, ano? And before the pandemic pa yan. In fact, I have a video here of the project. Would you like to see it?
Oh, yeah. I think it's important.
I'll ask Josh, can you, in fact, this the news item, no? Itong news item from the Philippine News Agency, Chinese firms to inaugurate 31 million peso solar station in Zambales. And the video, kiniklik na ni Joshua. Oh yeah, let's watch it for a while since it's only 7:52, no? Yan. Sige, panoorin natin para makita. A couple of seconds, ihanda po ni Joshua. We have a bit more time kasi wala po si Kado, kaya medyo maluwag ang oras natin.
Opo.
Ayun na, nandyan na po yung nakikita ko na actually, nag-roll na ba yan sa screen natin, Joshua? We will see it in a while, no? Ayun, nagka-countdown na po. Okay, mag-roll na yan.
Bus naman ang pasasalamat rito ng mga residente, lalo't mahalaga ang kuryente para sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay at edukasyon ng mga kabataan. Si Alan Francisco sa sentro ng balita.
Para sa mga estudyante ng Baliwit Elementary School sa San Marcelino, Zambales, tulad ni na Ian at Chini, mahalaga ang supply ng kuryente. Sa tulong kasi nito, nakanonood sila sa telebisyon kung saan ipinalalabas ang kanilang mga aralin. Anila, mainit din kasi sa silid-aralan kaya malaking bagay ang electric fan. Mas komportabling pag-aaral, mas malaki anilang tsansa upang makapagtapos at matupad ang kanilang mga pangarap.
Teacher po.
Bakit teacher?
Para makatulong po sa mga bata.
Anong grade ka na?
5 po.
Grade 5 na. Ilang taon ka na?
9. Gusto namin po ng kuryente.
Para?
Para po. Po.
Ang sitwasyon na Ian at Chini ang ilan lamang sa nagtulak sa State Grid Corporation of China o SGCC sa pagtulungan sa Department of Energy sa paglulunsad noong Enero ng taong ito ng Brighten Up Project. Ito ang paglalagay nila ng solar power stations o ang kuryenteng nagmumula sa araw sa tulong ng mga instrumento. Sabi ng SGCC, bukod sa mga paaralan sa San Marcelino, nasa 400 bahay rin ang kanilang napailawan. Sa unang 2 taon ay ang SGCC muna ang nangasiwa sa pailaw, pero kalaunan ay may mapasa rin ito sa electric cooperative.
Like our project name, we want to brighten the local people life and bring the local people more promoting and better future. And the capacity of the solar power station totally they're 67 kilowatt.
67
kilowatt. Also, we install the battery system, the energy storage system. The totally their capacity 400 watts plus.
$600,000 ang halagang inabot ng proyekto. Ngayong buwan, ang opisyal na inaugurasyon ng proyekto na nila'y isa sa mga patunay ng pagtutulungan ng China at Pilipinas.
Nagpapasalamat po kami dahil dito, at least nahikayat po namin lalong mga bata na kung saan ay lagi na po silang pumapasok. Dahil dati-rati po, dahil wala nga pong power, hindi po namin masyadong naibibigay yung mga ibang video, hindi namin may present yung video presentation namin sa mga bata.
Samantala, matapos ang supply ng kuryente, sunod naman nilang susolusyonan ang paglalagay ng cellphone at internet signal sa lugar. Mula sa San Marcelino, Zambales, Alan Francisco para sa Bayan.
Solar power stations inilunsad sa San Marcelino, sa Zambales, ng Department of Energy sa tulong po ng China. Lubos naman ang pasasalamat rito ng mga residente, lalo't mahalaga ang kuryente para sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay at edukasyon ng mga kabataan. Si Alan Francisco sa sentro ng balita.
Para sa mga estudyante ng Baliwit Elementary School sa San Marcelino, Zambales, tulad ni Ian at Chini, mahalaga ang supply ng kuryente. Sa tulong kasi nito, nakanonood sila sa telebisyon kung saan ipinalalabas ang kanilang mga aralin. Anila, mainit din kasi sa silid-aralan kaya malaking bagay ang electric fan. Mas komportabling pag-aaral, mas malaki anilang tsansa upang makapagtapos at matupad ang kanilang mga pangarap.
Teacher po.
Bakit teacher?
Para makatulong po sa mga bata.
Anong grade ka na?
Panood po ninyo. And Kaana, I think that's one of the projects we can do to bring those students to Manila and put them on our
To
show.
Manila, yes. Ang ano ko kasi, malapit ako dyan sa ganyan. Kasi when I was at the border ng Thailand at Myanmar, we have a project like that, the school, na malayo sa kabiasnan, ang mga tao namin is mga children na wala ng mga magulang, stateless, no? And walang ilaw, ang hirap po lang sa estudyante, walang ilaw. Tapos, nagkaroon kami ng project exactly the same, solar panels. So, alam ko kung ano yung ginhawa na, kasi I live with them for what, 5 years? I was with the community for 5 years, though in and out of the country, ng Thailand, kung saan ako napupunta. Pero, ang inuuwian ko after my work is really the community. So, walang ilaw. So, medyo naalala ko lang at saka parang malaki po ang ginhawa ng mga tulad na ganyang proyekto na nandun sa liblib na lugar kasi yung mga bata po doon ang nagbe-benefit dyan at saka yung pag-aaral nila mas nagiging magaan. I know how it feels kasi I've lived with community na walang ilaw, na nagkaroon ng ilaw dahil sa ganyang mga proyekto. So I was so happy when I read the stories kasi ni-research ko po ito.
Yeah.
So nakita ko po, kaya nagtataka ako, nasan yung slide natin tungkol doon? Mabuti na lang naaagapan niya.
Let's do a project like that here in the urban center, dun sa mga spotted area sa may
Oo.
Kasi yung
Opo.
solar panel pwedeng ipalutang sa ibabaw ng dagat eh. Kasi yung lupa ay maraming mga issues sa ownership, babayad ka o uupak ka ng lupa. Sa dagat pwede, no? Let's say, for example, dun sa Isla Puting Bato na maraming mga urban tour. I know yung kuryente is one of the issues in their lives kasi nga merong mga humihingi ng tulong sa akin dahil naputulong din ng kuryente and things like that. Maybe we can dream and maybe we can try to propose to our Chinese friends to do a project dyan sa neighborhood natin dito sa Manila. No? Let's hope. Let's dream
It's
about
really
that.
important po. Yes, it's really, really beneficial po, as in sobra.
Okay. And so you got a glimpse of the project in Zambales. How good we updated that here. You can see how long we have been trying to do this, no? Maestra Ana, been trying to bring this news to our public. So,
yung title nga po nila is Brighten Up, no? Brighten Up.
Yeah, Brighten
yung
Up.
project.
And
yung school ko doon,
yes.
Yung school ko po sa Myanmar border ng Thailand is Light School.
Light School.
Yes.
Okay, ilaw rin, no? Okay, and thank you by the way for PTV4 for that video. Hindi tayo sisingilin, Hindi tulad kung ABS-CBN baka o yung CNN Philippines o ANC baka sitahin na naman tayo ng YouTube and that's why it's important to have state media, Okay, anyway, ito galing naman sa Estados Unidos na isipan ko lang isama po ito dahil nakakatawa kasi nga nag-July 4 Independence Day celebration ang Amerika, may fireworks sila pero kulang. Bakit? Ayon dito sa report ng ABC News ni Ben Popkin, the fireworks industry warns that supply ahead of the Independence Day will be down about 30% this year due to supply chain issues. Last year, the United States imported around about 255 million pounds of fireworks, mostly from China. According to data from the research firm IHS Markit, companies increased their orders after record-breaking sales last year and neared $2 billion, meaning this year there will be a shortfall of over 76 million pounds of fireworks. So, pati sa paputok, umaasa sa China ang Estados Unidos. At ngayon, meron silang July 4th celebration, kukulangan po ng paputok. Yun ang nakakatawa po sa sitwasyon.
Kasi syempre, may July 1 ka na celebration ng 100 years of the CPC. Doon lahat ng magagandang fireworks.
Doon
inubos. China yun na gumamit So, magkukulang talaga sila ng import.
Yeah. Well, tuloy po tayo dito sa isang issue that you also dealt with, Maestra Ana, sa Facebook, Itong Reportier Sans Frontiers or Reporters Without Borders na NGO ng mga media, ng mga press daw, at binatikos na naman ang Pilipinas at si Presidente Duterte dahil sa inaapi ng Malacanang Philippine press dahil sa pagsara ng pagkawala ng prangkisa ng ABS-CBN at pagsara ng official Rappler broadcast or whatever you call them, yung magazine ba, newspaper, they were always a website, diba? They just lost their franchise, but website, they're still reporting up to today, diba?
So may online po sila.
There's no issue of information freedom, di ba? Walang issue.
Wala naman. Wala lang silang franchise. But they are, yung ENC nga, nagra-run pa. It's an ABS-CBN.
ABS-CBN, tuloy-tuloy pa naman rin na sila yung nakikibroadcast sa, yung stasyon ni,
may partnership din sila sa News 5
Oo nga.
News 5, mayroon sila. Marami silang partnership to air yung mga content nila, especially yung mga drama, basta content na show, pang entertainment. So wala, hindi naman sila nawala
Yeah, so hindi pwedeng sabihin na there is the suppression of information or press freedom or media freedom dito. Kaya sabi ng Malacanang, bereft of merit, walang merito itong sinasabi na press freedom predator si Duterte. So all this is the part of the usual, normal propaganda of Western countries against independent rising countries like the Philippines or the rising China, Cuba, and so on. Yan po. Ano bang pinost mo dito tungkol dito sa Facebook? Hindi ba meron kang mga post?
Kasi ano yung tawag sa kanila po? Borders, ano yun? Ano sila?
Reporters without borders. Yan yung English nun.
Reporters without borders. Ang
Pero
tawag ko sa kanila,
sa French,
reporters.
Sans Frontiers.
Sige. Sans Frontier. So, Reporters Without Border, ang tawag ko sa kanila, reporters full of bias and blinders. Reporters with blinders. Reporters with biases.
That's right. Yeah.
Bakit? Yung pinopoint out nila is pagsarado ng ABS-CBN. Hindi naman yun like, one thing that we have to clear, no? Wala yung kinalaman sa media freedom, okay? Doesn't have nothing to do with the media freedom in the country. Kasi ang issue ng ABS-CBN is yung kanilang prangkisa. Paso na ang prangkisa nila or baga, wala na. Hindi na renew. Bakit hindi na renew? Yun yung tanong. Why is it na hindi na renew ang prangkisa? It's not because of Duterte. It's precisely because of their own fault. Hindi nila masagot sa hearing ng Kongreso. Ilan yung hearing ng Kongreso? Umabot ata yun ng 14 hearings na almost every day. Na, Diyos mio, sinubaybayan ko po yun from the very start until the last hearing. Nakita ko lahat. Nakita ko kung anong mga question, anong hindi nasagot, at anong paikot-ikot ng mga kung ano-anong issue na hindi rin masagot. So, hindi yan issue ng press freedom. Issue yan ng franchise. And the state has the ability and the power not to issue franchise kung hindi siya satisfied sa sagot at may mga discrepancies na hindi masagot at hindi may bigyan ng patunay at patutuhanan. So, ano magagawa mo? So, bakit nila kinakabit sa press freedom yan? Sa dami ng bumabatikos kay Duterte every single day, hindi pa ba press freedom yan ang freedom of expression? Sus Maria Jose, pumunta kaya sila sa Singapore, punta sila sa ibang countries kung magawa nila yan. Baka doon maghari-kiri sila dahil hindi nila kayang magkaroon ng freedom of expression. Dito sa Pilipinas, ang problema hindi freedom of expression. So, mobra tayo sa freedom actually to the point na it's not anymore good. And it's causing a lot.
Tinatanggap dito yung freedom to lie. Yun ang problema.
Yun
Alam naman natin sinungaling. And yan din ang argumento ni Harry Roque. Sabi niya, yung International Criminal Court prosecutor cited media reports which were critical of the government, sabi ng ICC, in seeking to investigate the alleged state-perpetrated killings in the country. So, makakakuha ba ng ganyang reports ang ICC kung hindi free ang media dito?
Yung ICC na yan, puro nga media report lang, ang media clippings lang ang kanyang ebidensya. Yan ay patunay na ang ating media freedom is sumobra nga sa I believe in freedom, but in everything there is limit, no? There's no such thing as absolute even freedom, kasi the moment yung freedom mo is nakakasakit na sa ibang tao or sa isang community, that's not anymore freedom. Everywhere you go, there is a chain. You have to be very responsible in exercising that freedom. But the problem with our mainstream media is they don't even have that sense of responsibility in the way they report, na napaka-biased, napaka-one-sided. Yun ang problema natin. Hindi media freedom ang problema natin. Problema natin, biased media reporting. At saka, sobrang editorializing na sometimes you just need to report the facts from both sides. You don't need to editorialize kasi hindi ka naman komentarista, reporter ka. Unlike us, we're komentarista. Okay, yun. We can editorial, we can make our own conclusion out of the facts. But come on, if you're a reporter, opinions. But if you're a reporter, you just have to report, the facts. Kasi yun ang trabaho mo eh. Yun. Diyos ko. Kaya, reporters with blinders full of bias. Yun ang aking dyan.
Okay, and so Ang susunod po yung talumpati ni Presidente Duterte doon sa komperensya sa China na naanyaya ng China. Ang tawag po sa komperensya yung CPC and World Political Parties Summit on the occasion of the 100th anniversary ng Communist Party of China. At nagtalumpati by by video si Presidente Duterte doon sa gathering ng 10,000 participants from 160 countries and as many political parties, no? Kasama ang PDP laban mula sa Pilipinas, partido ni Presidente Duterte. And sabi nga, magandang message ni Presidente Duterte dito sa audience na to, at sabi niya, sleeping dragon no more, Duterte trusts China to defend what is good, just for all. And ito po, some more details sa message niya. President Duterte is counting on China not only to stay as a friend and partner in advancing peace and development, but also a defender of what is good and just for all. The President heaped praises on China and recognized its immense power and responsibility during the virtual Communist Party of China and World Political Parties Summit, Tuesday night, July 9. At the summit, Duterte, also chairman of the ruling PDP Laban Party, relayed his congratulations to the CPC on its centennial founding anniversary. Medyo error ata yung date dito sa report na to. Anyway, it's only July 6 nga doon sa dateline ng report. But we know the news as a whole, you know, that's the important thing. Etong last 5 minutes po natin, last 4 minutes, Madam Ana, ang mainit na issue na i-bring up ko kasi tungkol kay Pacquiao, kay Duterte, kay Sara, and all these, no? Bongbong, Soto, Lacson, and the presidential elections. Maalala mo, a few days ago, sabi ko, inulat ko sa inyo, ni Kaado, na si dating mayor ng Quezon City, John Simon, nagbigay ng feedback sa akin na sa Mindanao daw, hati na sa Sara Pacquiao. Ano? And Bongbong ang number 2. In fact, sabi niya sa kanyang feedback, Pacquiao daw is number 1, Sara is number 3. Of course, hindi ka panipaniwala sa ibang mga tao yan. No? One of the factors na sinabi ni John Simon kasi nga, yung mga pro-Duterte na konektado sa politika, natatakot na tanggalin sila lahat ni Sara kasi yan ang ginawa din ni Sara doon sa mga appointed ni Duterte, ng Tatay Duterte doon sa Davao City. But anyway, that's one perception. Ito naman kay Tony Lopez ng Manila Standard, ano? Na sinasabi niya, tayo na ito kasi nga yung ito, no? Because Sara's remaining, kung mahati daw ang Mindanao sa boto ni para kay Sara at kay Pacquiao, ano, matitira kay Sara ay 4.5 billion. If added to Bongbong's 5.85 million sa the solid north, no? Assuming Marcos just grabs 90% of the 6.5 million strong Ilocano vote, this would amount to 10.35 million, not enough to thwart the bid of Lacson and Soto, who should get at least 60% or 13.5 million of their 22.5 million bailiwick votes sa NCR, Calabarzon, Mimaropa, and Central Visayas. What do you think, Kaana?
Medyo ano yan, bailiwick. Ang tanong is, bailiwick nga ba ni Lacson at ni Soto ang NCR? That's even right. A question. I'm from NCR. I'm also from the Visayas, no? But I don't see that this is the bailiwick of Lacson and Soto. I don't think so. So medyo ano yan, it's a mind conditioning thing na I don't agree with that. And in terms of Mindanao, I have a lot of friends in Mindanao working for we have even our friend from UPCO, si Sir Peter Lavinia. No? I don't really believe that Manny Pacquiao is gaining ground in Mindanao. No. I don't see it. Probably in his own province, yeah, in a way, but even then, it would be divided.
Yung Sarangani bang?
Sarangani. Kasi take note si Pacquiao, unang kumandidato yan, hindi nga sa Sarangani, somewhere in another province, hindi siya nanalo eh. Kaya nga siya lumipat at doon siya kumandidato precisely because hindi siya nanalo. So even that already is a signifying hindi mo masasabing masusolid or mahahati ang boto ng Mindanao. I don't think so. And with all of these things going on with money na lahat na lang ng baho niya lumalabas, I don't think so. And in a national capital region, ang ano dyan, pagdating sa election, the way I experience it from the province perspective, no? Kasi galing ako probinsya pero nandito ako sa NCR. Ang NCR, ang tawag namin dyan sa politika is, ano yan swing votes. Nandito sa Manila ang swing votes. Ibig sabihin, you cannot call it a bailiwick of one partido or one candidate. Kasi swing votes yan. Kasi karamihan dito sa Metro Manila or NCR, ang voting population mo ay nasa middle class, at the same time intellect, not necessarily the whole of Manila intellectual elites, no? But ito yung middle class. So swing vote yan. Pero ang mga bailiwick na sinasabi, yun yung Visayas, like Cebu, like Davao City, yan, Ilocos region, yun yung bailiwick. And we know who are those people, candidates na may bailiwick yan. Pero ang NCR, and even a little bit outside of the greater NCR, swing votes yan. Swing vote, but it really depends kung anong may papakita mo sa debate, ano yung may presenta mong plataforma and all that. Ganun yan Pero ang Ilocos region, of course, it will always be a bailiwick of the Marcoses. Pag tinanong Mindanao, like Davao City and outside Davao, it's of course the Duterte. Ang Cebu is a Duterte camp, no? Ang Cebu, Duterte yan. Pagdating ng Region 8, it's 2. Marcos, some of the region are Duterte as well, no? I'm from Region 8, no? I'm from the Visayas. So, kind of, no? Pero NCR, it's not a bailiwick of any candidates. That's one thing I can tell you. It's a swing vote. Nandito ang swing vote. Kaya nga, pero malaki kasi ang NCR po. Kaya nga po, yung mga kandidato natin nagbubuhos ng pondo at saka ascension sa NCR. Pero ito yung swing votes nandito sa NCR. So,
sabi ko nga, masisindihan kita pagka itong topic ang nilabas ko. Sa 8:16, 1.5 minute overtime tayo. May comment dito si Chiclit. Sabi niya, pinagtatawanan lang ng mga taga Mindanao si Pacquiao. Maraming magandang comment po rito. Meron dito from naka-Chinese characters pa, Xiaolin. I cannot read the next two characters, kaya bobo ako sa Mandarin ko. Good evening, Mentong, Kaado, and Kaana. Mabuhay po, watching from Japan. Napakarami pong ibang mga comments, but our time is up. Pagod na rin ang ating technician volunteer, si Kajos. We have to take pity on Kajos. So, Madam Ana, thank you very much. Good night. Ikaw din, magpaalam ka na sa ating mga followers, taga-subaybay.
Opo, magandang gabi at sana po ay magkaroon kayo ng mga very good night. And thank you for pagsubaybay niyo sa amin at see you po again on Sunday.
Okay, and si Kaado will be with us next time also. So, ingat po and stay strong.
Opo.